What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. Tonight, I have Jason with me, and we are joined by a very special guest, Matthew Pryce from Ecotherm. I messed up every time. Centrotherm Eco Systems. Man,
I like Ecotherm though. That's not bad.
I've only had like a little sip, and I'm already messing it up. So, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me. Nice to chat with you guys. We've been chatting a little bit over the last couple of weeks, getting ready for this and whatnot. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Sweet. I didn't know if I was going to expect you at home or if you're going to be at the work studio or what was going on. So.
Well, it's 8:00. So, I guess I could have went into, this is my like music zone. Obviously I got like guitars and stuff up the wazoo over here and the gig lighting and Marshall stack and what have you. This is where I play. If we did this during the day, like where I was today, I'm in the green screen room at the Centrotherm manufacturing facility, which is I have a little marketing studio where I host the podcast with Mike Sakaris, and I do a lot of the social media content and make videos and do a lot of recording for product stuff and stuff. I love using the green screen. It's a lot of fun. I've tried to get one in here at my house, and it just hasn't really worked out the way I would like it. I need some better lighting, a little higher ceilings and stuff like that. So here I am in the music, the guitar room. I got keyboards and synthesizers all over the place. There's a banjo over there. It's where I spend as much time as I can when I'm not marketing vent pipe.
Man, that's a lot going on in there. How many different instruments do you have in there?
Oh my God. If you really want to get like technical, there's probably something like 60 or 70 instruments down here overall. I have like a little bin over there that has like 14 harmonicas in it. I have one for every key. I have a chromatic one. I have, a couple of doubles. If you really wanted to get crazy about it, there's probably like 60 or 70 instruments down here overall. But like the main ones are guitars and basses. I have electric guitars. I have acoustic guitars. I have bass guitars. I have drums right over there. I don't know if you could hear that. That was some conga action. I got synthesizers over there, arrays of electronics and pedals. There's 2 accordions down here. I got a nice ukulele on the wall. There's amplifiers. I got Irish whistles. I got, I'm forgetting like there's a Greek bouzouki that I bought in Athens, Greece behind me. It goes on and on and on and on. And I can play some of them very well, and I can play some of them.
So were you in Athens for music or in the band?
I was as a tourist, basically. That was last summer when my boss, Mike Sakaris, he's director of sales for Centrotherm. He's from Kefalonia. And I went to his, like the place where he was born, the island that's on the west coast of Greece, let's say. And me and my wife went out there for a couple of days. I had the best tour guide ever, a guy from the area. And then we flew to Athens, where we did like all the tourist stuff and just pounded the pavement and went to the Acropolis and the Roman Agora, the Greek Agora, etc. And it was actually my wedding anniversary while we were there. And I want to say it was like maybe 5, whatever it is the steel anniversary or the metal anniversary. I forget. And we synthesized that the strings of a bouzouki, which is like a Greek guitar, was the right kind of gift for that particular like year anniversary present, whatever it was. So
sweet, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool instrument.
So is the music a hobby, or are you in a band?
So I would be hesitant to call it a hobby because I do have a degree in music.
Okay.
So I have played guitar since I was like 15, so 150 years at this point. I played bass and piano for about the same amount of times, and I've picked mandolin and banjo up over the years, right? I have a number of albums, both with an old band that we don't play with anymore. I have 2 albums with my best friend. We just sit here and we record music and then we've released it. So this is all on Spotify. I have other stuff on Spotify. I've done pretty much I've done it all musically, more or less. I've went in the studio and I've been like the paid guy for like a hip hop artist where I played bass and then they made it like a beat and they rapped over the beat that I helped create. I've been in, I've written the songs and sang the songs in a band. I've written and composed music for other people. One of the coolest things I ever did was write a piece of music for someone to like walk down the aisle. Weird, like one-off gig, but I composed like a little piano piece in E flat, and I don't even remember her name. You know, somebody hired me off like Craigslist or something, and I just charged her a little bit of money and just like wrote this piano piece and recorded it. I mean, it's more than a hobby because it's really, you know, it has to be for the amount of gear and time that I spend.
Sure. So you're like a solo. I'm just trying to figure out if you're a solo artist or if you're touring or anything like that.
So I've done like a little bit of touring. I mean, a little bit of like playing regionally around.
That's great.
I've done cover band stuff where I've been the hired gun guy, where it's like somebody calls me and says, "Hey, I need a bass player in Saratoga on Friday. We're doing nothing but reggae covers. Can you be there?" And I go, "Well, how much you pay me?" And then they, you know, if all that works out, then I bring my bass up to Saratoga Springs and I play reggae in the band that night. Right? I've done that.
Nice.
I can do that pretty. Like I know the songs. You know, I read music. I can play the songs on guitars, piano, bass. Pretty much, just call me up and I'm pretty much ready to go. I can learn the songs pretty much on the fly. So I've done that a lot. Like they call that hired gun, meaning like I'm just the guitar player that night. So I've done that quite a bit. But also I've had my own bands that I've been like the front man for, where I like wrote all the songs, sang all the songs, played the guitar on them, been the marketing guy, the booking guy, the social media manager, all that sort of stuff. And the pandemic kind of slowed that down. I released an album with a band and we had most of the 2020 booked, you know, so we released an album like in January and I had like shows booked through the summer. And then the pandemic hit and like everything got canceled. And in that time, my bass player moved away and we just sort of, you know, kind of just fizzled out a little bit. So, but during that time, me and my friend were like, okay, you know, you're in Queens, I'm in upstate New York. We have internet connections. We both have the ability to record. Let's just start messing around. And, you know, now 3 years later, we have 2 full-length albums and we are working on the 3rd.
Nice. That's crazy. So let's talk about what your role is and who you work for a little bit.
Sure. So I am I want to say the 3rd longest tenured person at Centrotherm Eco Systems in Albany, New York. So I started there in 2015. And I want to say Joel, our CEO, and Chris Gerard, shout out guys, are the only people who have actually been at this company longer than I have at this point. And I started as a marketing specialist, and then I've done sales roles. I've done customer service type stuff, inside sales, outside sales. But now we're at a point where we do really need a full-time marketing department, and I am the marketing and communications manager. So that really does cast a wide net. You know, I plan the trade shows. I help, you know, I design the catalog. I redesign the website. I do, you know, I write press releases. I do all the social media is all me. You know, I mean, that's anything you see on the Centrotherm Instagram is 100%, you know, from either my camera or my, you know, my Premiere Pro editing or whatever it is. So, you know, right now we're planning the event in Miami, which is, so event planning is in the cards there, or you know, sort of on the resume now. You know, and also like little special projects. And I always like to say that, you know, pretty much anybody in the sales role is also in a customer service role. So I maintain a pretty close relationship with our manufacturers reps, of which we have world-class ones, including PM in your territory, Pat. They are local to Indy, and they're just like world-class guys. They're the Navian reps. They're incredible. Yeah, all right. Shout out to the marketing directors. That's it. I'm a lowly marketing manager, but director one day. So, but I do, you know, maintain a good relationship with our reps and obviously with our end users and also distributors, inspectors, pretty much anybody that we do business with internally and externally. I have some engagement with because, you know, I end up being a little bit of a spokesperson on social media and I know the product really well. So, you know, I kind of am a fill-in person often too. So you'll see me at the trade show, or you'll see me at the counter day. You'll see me at a job site. You'll see me filming content that is either both product related or goofy social media stuff, you know, taking photos. I'm certainly the Centrotherm archivist since I've been there for so long. I have photos of everything, video of everything, and I deploy those on MS Teams internally where appropriate. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I wear kind of a lot of hats, because I have been there for quite some time now, and you know, we've grown a lot, which has allowed me to kind of like grow into this role a little bit, or it has grown with me.
So we specialize in kitchens, so I always look for your stuff because I know you guys from trade shows and from Instagram and stuff, you know, and I've followed you guys for a while now. So anytime I go into a new build, I always look. I'm like, okay, where's the tankless water heaters? Okay, what venting they have? And every time I see Centrotherm, I'm like, yes, you guys know what's up. So you guys are absolutely killing it. And is it polypropylene venting?
That's correct. Polypropylene.
Polypropylene. So
Yes, indeed. So that obviously, well, not obviously, but polypropylene is let's call it a superior polymer to polyvinyl chloride and, some other stuff that has been used historically for venting applications. But polypropylene has a higher operating temperature, and our particular blend of polypropylene has, is UV resistant enough. It's impact resistant enough. It's cold weather resistant enough, and I think something like 60 other tests to achieve the coveted UL 1738 and ULC S636 rating, which is the Canadian equivalent, the relevant mechanical standard for flue gas venting. So, we are a listed system, is what we call it, evaluated by the ICC, the International Code Council, I think they're called, to those relevant standards, which some plastic polymers do not have and cannot achieve, yet are kind of incorrectly utilized in that application sometimes.
Yeah, it's a crazy world. Like I didn't realize how important it really is. I mean, I knew it was important, but I didn't realize the actual importance of it. Um, I've been watching Eric and Andy talk about it, and
Sure.
it's pipe where it's just melted and collapsed, and it's just brittle. And then Andy's been showing a ton of your guys' stuff here lately. He's been putting in, and it's pretty cool product. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that because we are in the mechanical room, right? And this is the kitchen chronicles. So I was thinking about but commercial kitchens require hot water for dishwashing purposes, require hot water for a myriad reasons. So there is a marriage between your field of expertise and every restaurant has water heaters in it, so you have to vent them somehow. I mean, there are shout out to my man Terrence Chan, who is one of my favorite people in this industry. I want to say he does quite a few he does a lot of service and tech work at like McDonald's. I think he puts in quite a few Navians into British Columbia McDonald's. And so that's not exactly I guess technically that's a commercial kitchen. It's not, let's call it fine dining necessarily, but it is certainly something that requires hot water, where we have now bridged the gap between the subject matter of the program and the product that I so dutifully sell Monday through Friday.
That's cool. So it sounds like you got a lot of hats you wear for them, but I mean, you're knowledgeable about the product too. So you're not just some guy running the marketing department. You actually know the product. You sold it. You still handle inside and outside sales. So that's really cool.
I definitely pitch in. And I've been there just quite enough time to have read the manual and talked to. I mean, I could rattle off many people who have taught me a great deal about stuff. I think back to my interview at Centrotherm, which is now in 2015. And the former vice president, who is one of these people who had count as teaching me a great deal about what goes on in a mechanical room and just what a boiler is and how it functions and whatnot. He asked me what kind of water heater I had in my house, and I had no freaking idea what brand it was or what it was or how it worked or any of that sort of stuff. And it always sticks with me. And that's now a question that I ask. When I do interviews, I ask that question of my interviewees, and it's always kind of funny. So of course now I know I have a natural draft A.O. Smith tanked water heater and all that. So now I know.
So now you know. I have a Renai and I have a fluid and pipe, I guess, system right now, but it's coming out probably this spring.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit. So, I would recommend you hit up the Navient reps in your area.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit them up. I'm definitely gonna get a Navient for sure. I've done a lot of research. I just put the Renai in because I had a tank, natural draft tank in the basement. My basement kept getting flooded, and I got sick of having to deal with it. So I moved it upstairs in the laundry room, hung it on the wall, and I had access to water right there, and I was done with it. So it was pretty easy. And I just bought it at Lowe's, and now that I know a little bit more, I was like, I should have spent a little more money and bought something a little better, but it worked. It got me by.
I mean, Renais are great. There's actually, we don't play favorites. We work with all the OEMs. We're approved for pretty much all of them, and I mean, there's quite a few great products out there. NTI makes great products, and Telehot makes great products. IBC makes great products. Ream. There's a lot of options out there, and really, it's all becomes it's how manufacturers operate. And does that jive with your style as an installer? I mean, as a homeowner, it's like, does it work? And then after that, who cares? But like, I hear, such and such brand has great tech support, or, these parts are always available, so it's easy to fix them, like that kind of stuff. So, I mean, those are always, that's the criteria I hear from the people who are actually handling and installing the units.
Yep. What are you writing down over there, Jason?
What are you drinking? I was wondering if I should pour like a whiskey for myself or something like that.
I got a Evan Williams single barrel I got for my birthday last week, and
happy birthday!
Thank you. I got Eagle Rare I normally drink, but I just traded it out for now.
I've got
a long week.
I've got Blanton's in a coffee mug from Centrotherm.
There you go. Excellent. It's funny. I have my Centrotherm. My Yeti is here, but it is filled with H2O. So yeah. I thought maybe I.
So no, we are a free drink podcast.
Happy hour.
Yeah, we've been known to. Well, me and Rich have been known to smoke some cigars. So we have offended some people by drinking and smoking, I guess. So it is what it is.
Well, we're just hanging out. So I mean, do what you got to do. I mean, that wouldn't offend me at all. One of the other industry podcasts that I've been on has been Thirsty Thursdays with Steve of NTI, and obviously he's a big brewery guy, so I think it's pretty much mandatory. I think when I went on his when I went on his podcast, I actually didn't have any it's like he's a beer guy, a brewery guy, and I didn't have any beer, so I was like, sorry guys, I'm drinking Irish whiskey.
I can do it. I get around, so I try not to indulge too much. I wasn't gonna drink, and then I was like, now I gotta have one. It's tradition at this point. So let's talk about. You want to talk about the podcast? So you guys have a podcast. You guys bring people on.
We do.
You want to talk about what the background on that is and what you guys do?
Sure. So we're kind of inspired by people like Ben from HVAC Tactical, Ben Thompson, HVAC Strong, people like Mike Flynn and Jeff Dem, and many, many others who really have the trades and uplifting it at their at the forefront of what they're doing. And so that's why our podcast is not a commercial for our product at all. Yeah. And we tend to not really talk there. We do one segment where we highlight like a great installation, but we often focus on, any number of things like the bends in the copper and other, like what else makes it great. Not just that they used our product. I mean, that is part of it, but it's, we strive to not make it. We think it would be boring if all we did was like give the pitch over and over again and just sell the product. I mean, it's not QVC, right? So what we try to do is one, have a little fun. Me and my sales director, Mike, he's like one of my best friends at this point. And if your boss could be your best friend, I mean, let me tell you, it's a good relationship. So we have a lot of fun. We chat. We kind of cut it up a little bit and laugh. We discuss the matters of the day and, like that kind of stuff. And then we try to have on kind of an inspirational guest. Mm-hmm. And we've been really, we've had some all-stars on our podcast. And we've also run the gamut of different types of organizations and different parts of the value chain. And, so we've had plenty of, we've had plenty of influential contractors on, let's say influential end users. Terrence has been on, both Ben Thompson and Ben Poole have been on, Flynn's been on, we could just go on and on and on. We've had loads of these guys on all the time, but we also have had, like Kurt Pickering, who maybe you don't know because he's in Canada, but he's a pretty notable wholesale distributor who offers a very interesting service as part of it, as part of his business called Pacific Clean Air. So he's a wholesaler. He's a parts supplier, and he's also a hell of an interesting guy. He's the first guest that we had that also had an IMDb credit to his name, so we'll put that out there. But so he's a wholesaler. We've had the CEO of Hardy on, Talbot. Talbot G. Hardy is I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hardy. It's the Heating, Air Conditioner, Refrigeration Distributors International. It is a organization that's based in Columbus that is basically there for uplifting the trades, right? So we're not just having just anybody on. We want people who have a unique knowledge about the industry, that also have that sort of passion, talk, that bring a positivity and also a unique, sort of, perspective, let's say. So we have a lot of fun. I mean, and I love doing it. It gets to, I love doing media. So there's that. I also love editing stuff in Premiere Pro. I never thought I would want this before, but doing working this job and doing a lot of the Instagram content and a lot of the video content has really made me want to direct a movie, or at least DP a movie, right? Do something on a larger scale where I'm thinking about colorism, and I'm thinking about lighting, and just beyond let's call it disposable Instagram reels that we forget about, in I would say I wanted to say 48 hours, but it's probably closer to 48 seconds.
Blink, yeah, and you're on to the next one.
So yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I seen Aiden was on there, and
yeah, Aiden. He's my number one safe venting enthusiast.
That kid is something else, man. He's all over the place.
He's one of he is another one of the people that is really loves the trades. He's the kind of nerd who's going to be the invent a product that really makes life a lot better for people in terms of heating or air conditioner or something like that. He's always got his nose in a book, and it's always a technical thing. He knows the codes backwards and forwards. I mean, he's really a really fascinating, inspiring dude. We chat all the time too. I don't know if you saw, he's been making Centrotherm memes and stuff like that. It's so funny. He's super clever. I really like that dude.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. I met him last year at AHR, and I was blown away. I mean, I've talked with him on and off for a couple of years, on here, and he really is a good kid, man. He's got his head on his shoulders, and some people tried, dragging him along, getting him in some trouble, but he steered clear of that and did what he was supposed to do. So I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of people on his side, looking out for him too. I mean, he's got a good start. A lot, he's a good guy. I'm glad we know him. I'm glad he's on our team. I look forward to seeing him. I guess I'll see him at AHR, next.
Sweet. So we talked a little bit beforehand, and you are doing some stuff for HVAC Tactical, the magazine and the Tactical Awards, correct?
So not so much the awards. I mean, from a Centrotherm perspective, we are sponsoring. We want to make sure our patches are on those sick bags, and that kind of stuff as well. So I mean, we see we're kind of reiterating similarly to the reason we do a podcast with Centrotherm. Sponsoring HVAC Tactical is also something that does that with the trades. It is a focus on the professional craftsman. Master your craft is a phrase that's or a big slogan that is part of the HVAC Tactical ethos. So being a part of that is a really a no-brainer, because it does from a marketing perspective, it attracts the top talent in this industry that of course we'd want to know about our product and all that sort of stuff too, but as a whole it uplifts the industry as well, and it's super fun and cool, and it's really an interesting approach that has another slogan, let's call it, is blue collar goes black tie. It's really a fascinating party and a fascinating award show that does recognize professionalism, including yourself, Mr. Finley. So it's really a unique and original thing, and it's only grown, of course, and that's why episode 2 of the magazine is coming right around the corner. I know, Jason, you said you're issue 1 is in the mail, I think you said. So, definitely check that out. And episode 2 is coming right around the corner too. So pretty excited about that. We're very, very proud of how this is coming out. There's some really incredible contributions from great writers. The cover story is about Flynn and Jeff, and there's sick art that accompanies it. And I mean, there's a lot of great stuff in there. Great photography. It's a labor of love, like anything else is, but really, really proud as to how this is coming out.
Sweet.
Nice.
I look forward to it. I seen the little sneak preview of the bags today. I got excited. As soon as I seen that bad boy, I had to share it and tag Jason in it.
Yeah.
I managed to guilt Jason into going this year, so he's going to be at the Tactical Awards.
Excellent.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Are you going to wear a tux, right?
Yep, I got one.
All right. Excellent.
I lied. I'm getting one. Excuse me. I got my tickets and I got my hotel room.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I would encourage everybody to really go I mean, not everybody can do what Ben does. I mean, he was like James freaking Bond in that white tux last year. I mean, it's the kind of he's like the bride at the wedding. He should wear the white one and no one else. But I mean, there were some really swanky looking outfits over there, and I was in a tux last year. I will be in a tux this year.
I'll see when it gets closer. Amazing.
I'm bringing it.
So here's the beautiful thing about this too. So last year it was in Atlanta, which is, I mean, granted it was in, January, February, but I mean, it was muggy, it's going to be cold as hell in January in Chicago. That's perfect for wearing a tuxedo, at least.
Exactly.
I mean, I will not be a sweaty mess wearing that. I'll be actually comfortable. And, I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. It's kind of, anytime you get to put a tuxedo on for work, it's kind of a unique and interesting thing. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a crazy, it's a fun night. I never expected, the win, let alone, it's just amazing. The things that the people are there, the camaraderie, people from the internet you've never met in real life, and like they'll talk to you like you've known since you guys were kids. It's amazing, and I like the fact that it's gonna be a little longer this year, maybe I think. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't like get kicked out and go back to my hotel, so I don't want to. Well,
yeah,
cool.
It's I mean, I completely agree. There are some folks who, I mean, you chat with, in the DMs, or they maybe they use my product or something like that, and that's how it sort of starts or whatever. But I mean, it certainly goes way beyond that. And then you meet them in person, and they are that sweet person, like 9 times out of 10, and it's really nice. I am blessed to have made a lot of really, really great friends in this industry. And, I mean, it becomes like a reunion sometimes at places like that.
Yep, that's exactly how it is. That's cool. It's cool. So nice. So you guys doing a big booth this year at AHR again?
So actually, we have decided we are actually not exhibiting at all this year. So we opted to. There's only so many hours in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And our South Beach event, I believe, is like maybe 2 weeks after AHR. So it's just too much. So we are approaching the strategy that we are planning on taking right now is sort of every other year type of thing, where we'll do a big blowout at AHR, and then we'll do a big, contractor event the next year, and then we'll repeat the process. So we didn't have our personal rigid experience, let's say, last year, but we did have our best booth ever, our biggest booth ever, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, your name's on the wall, and the whole 9 yards, right? I mean, we had a great time there, and it was like massively successful, which does give us traction moving into what we want to do this year, which is the event in South Beach, which we are we're of course we're certainly looking forward to, and putting tons of time and thought into it, of course, which kind of takes away bandwidth from something like AHR. So we will be there. I will be at the Tactical Awards. I will actually I feel as though I'm actually looking forward to AHR this year, which typically I dread it a little bit. As the marketing manager, I mean, I do a lot of the planning stuff, down to potentially sometimes sending confirmation numbers for the hotels of my sales personnel and stuff like that. So there's even like an element of secretarial work that comes with doing AHR if you're bringing 12, 13, 14 staff members, as we have in the past. So, dealing with engineers and approving art and approving things like, renting plants and shit like that for your booth and whatnot. I mean, it's crazy how much little stuff and how much man hours and mental bandwidth it takes. It's exhausting. So we'll be there, but I'm looking forward to just actually walking around, which I've been to AHR like 7 times, and I have basically never walked it at all. I've always been more or less tied to booth duty, let's say, with occasional bathroom breaks, few and far between. But so this year I actually I look forward to going to the podcast alley or whatever it is. And I mean, I want to say, I forget if it was RLS or Vega did like a press challenge last year.
RLS.
Yeah, so like I wanted to go and see that. That was cool. I mean, all the photos I saw of it was awesome. I want to be taking those photos. I want to be making those videos and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not able to do that if I'm, sort of giving the pitch or manning the booth, let's say. So this year, we're gonna take a little bit of time to just kind of wander, say hello, and shake hands, kiss babies, that kind of stuff like normal. But 2 weeks later, we'll be in Miami doing our own thing.
So you'll be walking around with a camera and recording and everything else.
Oh hell yeah! I'll probably bring a gimbal with me. I'll probably mess with like lapel mics a little bit. That was one of my complaints this year, was just too loud. I couldn't use standard microphones in my booth. It was just picking up too much noise. So lapel mic, and probably Bluetooth that to a phone on a gimbal a little bit. And I mean, I am a jazz musician. So I improvise. So I don't know what the hell I'll be doing, but I will definitely be making hay out of it, because there's a lot of, fun to be had, a lot of fun things to capture, a lot of content to be made, and, like that kind of stuff as well. So Centrotherm will be there, just not with our typical setup, but then, in 2025, we are planning on returning. I think it's in, I don't know, Dallas. I think it's in Dallas, 2025. So I'm not, don't quote me on that, but that's our plan.
This is 2025 when it's back in Florida.
Yep, Orlando.
Is it back in Orlando? Okay, so that's fine. I like that one. I could get a direct flight there, so that's good.
Yeah. I'm like an hour from my house, so I'm good.
All right, we're staying at your house. So long as you got that Evan Williams pouring, man.
So yeah, I noticed you'd be trying to record, and people be walking by trying to sign the wall or come in talk and stuff, and you're like, oh, I got somebody in here. I'm trying to record, but yeah, that'd be a little rough. But I mean, you guys have a great community. You're involved with a lot of people, and a lot of people want to come see you guys. It's pretty cool, though.
It was honestly, so like I said, I've done AHR a lot of times, and I've got mixed feelings about the trade show industry. And I've left AHR with different feelings sometimes that it was not as well as attended as I would have liked, or not, I mean, there's or the booth wasn't my, I don't think the booth company did what I hoped that they would do, so you always walk away with different types of feelings. This last year, I was debating if I wanted even to invest in it as a business, right? As I said, I have mixed feelings about trade shows, but then we had our best booth. The traffic was amazing. We had a party on the podcast side almost the entire 3 days. There are some really amazing photos. I mean, at one point, Sakaris comes back. He's got like 8 beers and an armful of hot dogs. And we had like a little barbecue with, British Columbia's best over there. I want to say like Graham from Dispatch was there, and Terrence and Calvin from Impetus, and Ben Thompson. I mean, there was like we had like a whole crew just hanging out, having a beer in the booth, which to me is kind of something that is a lot more welcoming and nice than kind of force feeding a pitch to someone. I mean, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of sales activity that's going on there, which is very direct and, necessary or has its place. But, we have developed that community, as you said, that we had people just kind of wanting to be, just hanging out. We're here, you're here, you're family. Like we were the Olive Garden of AHR last year.
That's a good way to put it. It was a fun booth for sure. I had to stop by every time I came by, so it was cool.
So, yeah, we had a great time. We're changing facilities. We are expanding our facility at Centrotherm. We're moving 16 miles north. So right now we're in downtown Albany. It's that way from where I'm sitting, about 9-ish minutes. We're moving that way in about for 20 minutes north of here or so, like doubling our footprint, et cetera, et cetera. I took that diamond plate cloth thing with all the stickers off the booth, and I cannot wait to hang it in my new office.
That's nice. That's cool. Yeah. So you want to talk about the Squid Games and what it's all about and what it's leading to? Well, I know we talked about it a little bit, but there's probably a lot of people that don't know what it is exactly.
So I mean, the one sentence summary is like, it's a good time in Miami and a networking event. I mean, obviously it's a little bit more than that because, it's a big, big investment for Centrotherm as well. So there are metrics that we must hit. And there are things like, all of the nerdy stuff that we have to talk about with corporate in order to approve such a, what is a big expense, so what it is a networking and branding exercise that invites the top industry best, influencers down to Miami to play some games, go to the beach a little bit, network. I am one of the things that I floated that is going to happen. Last year, I got temporary tattoos. So, you got them slapped on there, and then, a couple days later, take a few showers and goodbye. Not this time around. I'm bringing a actual tattoo artist down, and we will be doing permanent tattoos on people. If you want to get the Centrotherm logo, that's up to you. That's not mandatory. I'm going to have I'm actually bringing the guy who's done like all of my stuff. Bringing him down to South Beach, and we'll have him prepare wrenches and HVAC related stuff, so he can start banging out quick ones so he can get through as many as possible. I am first in line, of course, but we will, so we're up in the game. So on Friday, the day after tomorrow, we're Mike and I are recording our next podcast, and our guest is Roger Wakefield. And yeah, so Roger is going to be. We'll be announcing something on that podcast that is what is Roger's involvement with what we're doing. And I mean, to give you a hint, let's just say I hope he has a suit that resembles Steve Harvey's. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so we asked him if he would be a participant in something, and he was excited to do it. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit on our podcast that we record on Friday, be out next week. But yeah, he's going to come down. He's going to host for a little bit, and we're kicking around ideas on how to make the most sense. But that's one of the games that will whittle down the field, that brings it down to the final, whatever. And of course, it's all in fun. So, yeah. I mean, that's a pretty really rambling answer to your question as to what the hell is going on in Miami. But I mean, it's a fun experience we upped our budget so we could bring like quite a few people down. Like we're aiming for, 45, 50, 55 participants, plus some of our reps, plus some of the Centrotherm staff and stuff like that. So, it's going to be a pretty big blowout. And day one is out and about Miami. We're planning on doing stuff on the beach. We're planning on doing stuff out in the city, out in South Beach and streets and stuff like that. And then day two is the fully immersive 4D experience at the Temple House, which is the same place we had it last time around. It is a place that is basically like Thunderdome. There you go. Yeah, you got it. So it is it's like a big white dome, and there are 3D projectors everywhere. And I work with their media team, and I create some of my own visuals, and we transform the place into a crazy immersive experience that, makes it seem like, if you're in the Gladiator arena, we're playing Gladiator music, and you got the crowd cheering around, all that sort of stuff too. So we did it with the Squid Games theme last time around, but there was like circus elements and other fun stuff too. So, there's really nothing off limits, and no bad ideas yet.
What's the name of the event?
So I'm season 2 is what I'm really calling it for copyright purposes. But it's we like the concept of the Squid Games because so really what, like, to dial it to the very, very beginning of this, we were thinking about doing some kind of event. And it's like, okay, what kind of event can we do? And then the idea was, what kind of, can we do some kind of games? Like, what kind of games can we do? Something where people compete and play against each other, whatever. Everybody's kind of competitive, even if it's friendly. And I think that my boss had come back on a flight, and he had binged like all of the Squid Games, like on his flight home from Greece or something like that, and he watched like all the episodes. So it was like pretty hot at the time, and there's some fun music, and obviously it's pretty visually spectacular. There's a lot of bright colors and stuff like that. So that's sort of the genesis of that. And then, then he bought a mask, and we play with a voice changer, and we're kind of just keeping it light. I mean, ultimately our product is some boring ass gray cylinders, right? We sell plastic pipes and elbows, man. So it's not particularly sexy. So we got to get creative. We're an accessory line. So we're not even like really the big player in the mechanical room. We are, usually an afterthought in terms of the installation experience in putting in a furnace, whatever. It's one of the final things that people consider. So we got to do things a little bit differently so that we're thought of a little bit higher up the line, let's say. And I mean, I must say it's working. We are, gathering, we're amassing a nice following on Instagram, and people are having fun with the stuff that we've sent them and making good content, and it should be a good event with some good people.
Sweet. Yeah, I've seen everyone down there for the first one. I was like, man, I was super jealous, Ben drinking everybody down there and just having a good old time. I was like, what's this all about? How these guys get picked? And now I know.
Now you know.
I was just in my infancy back then as far as social media goes.
Us too. It was a big leap for us. I mean, that was, 2 years ago, and we didn't know the people that we know now. We didn't have the same relationships that we've developed and grown since then. I'm, 2 years closer with everybody. You know what I mean? So it certainly is a fascinating concept overall, and a unique thing to work on behind the scenes. And then, me and Mike were the MCs. Like, during the actual day of the thing, I'm in that immersive thing, in the dome with the circus music playing, and I have a microphone, and I'm, it's like, ancient Rome almost. I'm yelling and screaming and narrating the whole thing and announcing stuff. I mean, it's a blast. It's crazy. It's insane that I get to do that.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. I don't see anybody else. You have the rigid experience, the green experience stuff, but yours is a little different, and it's pretty cool. So I look forward to seeing what happens this year at it. That's for sure.
Yeah, us too. Me and Mike have a meeting on Friday to what's our next steps? What are we doing next? What are the boxes we got to check, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you wouldn't believe. You should have seen the Excel spreadsheet that we had going into it last year, going into 2 years ago. We're booking people's flights, right? So we need everybody's government name, and we need their birthdays, and we need all of this stuff. So, so we can make sure that everybody's name corresponds to the reservation on the hotel, that corresponds to transportation, that corresponds, all this stuff. It's crazy how detail oriented it has to get sometimes. And luckily, Mike is really, really organized and energetic. And, he does a lot of that stuff, if not most of it. And he's way more organized than I am. I'm like I'm an ideas person, but also like a tactical person. Like, it's like, okay, it's time to make the video, or I'm going to record it. We'll edit it. We'll put it out, like that kind of stuff. But he's really the project manager overall. So it's a lot. I mean, it is an incredibly time consuming and encompassing, thing to put on. I mean, it's no small feat.
I know there's a lot of interest in it. A lot of guys are excited for it. So we'll see what happens next. I'm sure there'll be some stuff out here soon. So,
yeah.
So you do a lot of, you said marketing stuff. So do you edit most of the videos that goes out for Centrotherm, or?
So you talk about like YouTube products. I mean, basically all media that you see, everything that you see externally. If it doesn't predate me, there are some stuff that happened before I was around, but but that's few and far between, especially with a rebranding that I helped do in like 2018. So like anything with an old logo is really, really old at this point, but pretty much anything that you see on YouTube is me. I've either filmed and edited and produced it 100%, or I've taken some other person, somebody's given me some clips and I've did the rest of it. Anything you see on Instagram is almost 100% me. I'm the only person who has like the Instagram password, right? So that means that I'm the only person who actually does the physical posting, who actually does the messaging, who actually does commenting and stuff like that. We're looking to change that a little bit because it is a lot to it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week situation doing that. In terms of the content, unless it's a photo that Mike took that he sent to me, which does happen, I have something like 27,000 photos and videos on my phone or something like that. A ton of it is, it's just funny. It's like it's wild to scroll my albums, right? Because it's like, oh, I went to this wedding with my wife. Oh, okay, we went over here. Oh, it's a picture of a rabbit. And it's like, oh, all this large diameter venting. Oh, the event that we did with Centrotherm. Oh, that's a bunch of contractors. Oh, that's a training. That's what it is for 27,000 photos.
So what's some of your favorite software you use to edit?
So it's funny. I'm in marketing, right? I'm supposed to create brand allegiance and all that sort of stuff. I personally, I only, there's probably more, but I don't think I have two specific things, two brands that that I have loyalty to. So the first one is Adidas. I just wear Adidas sneakers. I like their socks. I wear the track suits, like, an old Goomba, the whole 9 yards. I love Adidas. But to answer your question, the only other company or brand or entity that I have solidarity and loyalty to is Adobe. And I love the Adobe suite of creative products, right? I've not worked a ton with any of their sort of like marketing stuff that they have, which I'm sure is great, but the Premiere Pro is my absolute favorite program. I love Premiere Pro. I have this job today because I pirated Photoshop in high school. So, rewind the clock to like 1999 and, I stole Photoshop off of like BitTorrent or something like that. Right. And I just messed with it until I knew how to do all the tools. And I'd like to consider myself at Jedi level on Photoshop. I could pretty much make anything happen, whether it's real or not, and make it look real, So Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, those are my big four. I would love to do more After Effects, but you don't really have to anymore. There's so many like little like motion graphics templates and things like that. You can kind of get around actually learning how to do that stuff. If you have a base knowledge of how to do certain little animations and certain little tricks, there are so many tools out there that can help you just avoid like the labor intensive part of like putting a glimmer around something and make it look cool. So After Effects is one that I haven't messed with too much, but Premiere Pro is my editing go-to almost 100% of the time.
I started using that when I first started doing everything, and then it got to where I'd try to produce something and it would just lock up. And I just quit using it.
You got to have, it's a beefy program. So you can't run it on like kind of an old computer. There are minimum requirements, especially. So also, not for nothing, but like if you have an old computer, but you have a new phone, your phone's videos are pretty good quality. It might not work on the computer. Just because the graphic, phones are so advanced these days. The videos they take are very data heavy, and you can mess with the settings to make them 4K and all this other stuff. Big files which require a decent processor to run. I have a 16 core processor on the other side of the studio over there that renders files pretty quick, which is necessary because I try to film in 4K as much as I can, even for like disposable Instagram bullshit. I still try to film as good of the quality as I can.
Yeah, I've upgraded computers. I haven't used it. I still have the Premiere Pro. I haven't put it on my MacBook yet and tried it on it and see. So, Jason, what are some of your favorite programs to use when you edit?
Everything I use is on my phone. And let me take a quick look here. I got Filmmaker, InShot. I use Lumi. I've downloaded CapCut and Video Leap, and I never got around to actually learning how to use it because all they do is just bombard you with advertisements on social media. So never got around to really messing with it. But those three are like my little go-to. I find myself using InShot quite a bit. And so it's just really easy. Everything I've done on it, whether it's 3 minutes, an hour, couple seconds, I've just done it on InShot because it's just super easy. So I'm sure I'm losing quality, but it does give you the option when you download 1080p, 2K, 4K. It lets you do all that stuff. So
yeah, I wouldn't. I don't sleep on those phone apps. Some of them can do really good stuff. There's an app called Lensa that I use sometimes.
I've used that with the AI.
Yeah, exactly. And what I like is for that is when I'm really trying to get disposable, and all I really want is like just combine these 7 clips and sync it to music, and it just does it quickly and generally pretty good. That's that. I like that Lensa app for really quick stuff. Really, like when it's got to be quick and dirty, that Lensa app is pretty effective.
See, I haven't used it for that application. It's just for changing pictures into
the video section of it is pretty powerful, I gotta say.
Oh, okay. I'll have to revisit that.
I'll check that out. I'm trying to get better into recording So I'm trying to record everything with 2 cameras, one in portrait, one in whatever mode it is, so I can have some for YouTube. I'm trying to step up some YouTube stuff. And if you post
No portrait recording, only horizontal recording.
I know.
It drives me crazy. I am kind of like the TikTok generation, but I'm also like an old cinema nerd, and vertical filming drives me crazy.
I've had some people on my YouTube page gripe about it, and I was like, okay, I got to start. And I've got GoPros, I've got 2 phones, I've got all kinds of stuff. I'm terrible, so I just got to do it. The hard thing is try to sync everything back up, like voice, because a lot of times I'll use a mic for my phone, but I don't use it for the GoPro, and then I try to overlay it, and I'm terrible about it.
That is very, that's why they use the little clapper board, in the in Hollywood style. I mean, that is tough to do. There are apps and stuff that help auto sync that, but you gotta mess with them and figure out the one that works. That is a pain in the ass. Multiple cameras. I mean, there's some times in which, so I got like I said, this is my music studio as well. Like there's like cameras and like all different like angles over here, and I usually just sequence them. I use like a macro to like sequence them. So it's like 3 seconds here, and then it fades to that one. But that's very repetitive. And it's not nearly as good as if you could have several things going at once and then have them like, synced together, like some of those apps can do for you.
That's above my knowledge.
Me too.
It's a second full-time job for me. So it comes in second versus my normal job. So a lot of times I'll get deep into a repair and I'll record a bunch of stuff, and then I forget to record the ending of it, or I miss like a bunch of good stuff I should have recorded, and I'm like, oh, this is all junk now.
That is the creator's curse right there, right? I've there's been a couple times I was like, I should have did a time lapse on that, like that's perfect time lapse content, and it's like, oh dang, I forgot. Well, but it happens.
Yeah, try being in the restaurant when you recorded like 3 hours of footage, and then you look over and there's like a McDonald's cup sitting there, and you can't use none of it. You're like, God dang it!
Well, just blur
it out. Put your logo over it.
Watermark over top of it.
Just blur it. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, that does require a little bit more advanced editing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would be shocked if phone apps were able to do how exact that is. But for example, I have a couple of videos that I've taken in the manufacturing facility, and when I scan across the like the bins of our raw material, there's like some kind of, I don't know, chemistry code on it. I honestly don't know what it is. I forget what it was, but I was just told that don't show it, right? So you do like a track mat is what it is, and you just track the blur over it. I mean, it's the same thing that people do with nudity or like license plates or somebody's face for anonymity and stuff. It's just get or crop it out.
Yeah, crop it out. That's what I was thinking. Be easiest thing for me. Ken Burns and crop and be done with it.
Yeah.
Take your horizontal video. Now you have to turn it into a vertical one because you cropped.
So that's why I always tell these whippersnappers who are doing this vertical video that you can turn horizontal video vertical if you need to, but you can't turn vertical video horizontal.
No, you get really short and fat.
Yep. Well, I'm not even talking about the aspect ratio. Like that's a whole other thing. Like if you want to mess with the aspect ratio, then it just looks like shit. But I mean, if you can subset a vertical section of a landscape, but you cannot go the other way. Drives me crazy. Oh my God. Instagram reels are like I hate them. I hate them.
Now I catch myself starting to record everything. So, okay, I'll do better.
Well, it's funny. It is the way it is. Everybody holds their phone like this, and it does maximize the screen. So, I mean, I get it. You're using the utility of the phone itself, but I mean, it's just not, the widescreen is just so much more elegant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It does look a lot better. I'm not going to lie. All right. Well, we've been almost an hour. I don't want to keep you much longer because we could probably sit here and talk about editing and video stuff all night. But
well, hold on, Pat. Some people were asking for him to play a riff. I'm not sure if he's willing or he's able.
That's
before he kicks out his socials.
Oh my God! All right. Well, hold on a second. We can make this work.
Ben says you can't just do it once. He has to keep jamming. So
hold on a second. Let's see what we can do here. All right. I'm always jamming, Ben. So I got to turn a few things on here though. Let's see. Oh my god.
Oh, what did I start?
Dusty's fault. Yeah, Dusty. And then someone wants to know if he wears Crocs.
Did someone say do I wear Crocs? Was that what I heard there?
There's some people that follow several live streams and they like to ask the guests.
Oh, all right. I mean, I own a pair of Crocs. I can't say I wear them with any great frequency. You know.
That's funny. He's got all kinds of stuff in that room. They get everything fired up.
All right, let me tell you. Can you hear that?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so what I'm going to do here is I got loop pedals on the ground. I've got drum machines and synthesizers. You hear that too, right? All right, so here we go, right? And I mean, I can just go on forever.
Oh, that was great. Thank you.
That was what I like to call improv in E flat minor.
That's awesome. It's a one-man band.
That's it, man. That's it. So get up and dance. That's it.
All right, so let's drop your socials. We gotta make sure we drop all Centrotherm stuff and
Sure.
stuff, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah. So I mean, follow the Centrotherm account. It's Centrotherm Eco Systems. And follow me at Matthew Funtime. I'm usually I tag myself not I don't do too much shameless self-promotion from the Centrotherm account, but occasionally it does happen here and there. We're Centrotherm Eco Systems on YouTube as well. We're always posting stuff. Merengue he wants, so like yeah, so you can find us all. It's just Centrotherm, across the board. Facebook, LinkedIn, the whole nine yards. So
yeah, if you have any questions, make sure you hit them up, man. They are very responsive on Instagram for sure, and they will get back to you. He does a really good job. He knows his stuff too. He's not just the brains behind the marketing. He knows the equipment. So
I thought you were gonna say not just the pretty face.
I didn't want to say that. It makes my jealous. So.
Are you going to be performing at all at the awards? Are they going to have a band or just a DJ?
A band is always a lot of fun, but the issue with a band though is depending on what it is, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. There's a lot of awards to give out. There's a lot of people make speeches and things like that. Like, where does a band fit in exactly? Music to play people off and things like that are, that's part of it, but maybe like a little jazz court, beforehand, or it's in Chicago, so really like a blues band in the beginning could be kind of sick. And I mean, I know the blues, so I play the blues.
I could play trombone, but I can't read the music anymore. It's been a while, but I can jump in.
That's it, man. We'll just keep it in B flat. You'll be all right. That's it.
Thank you for coming on, man. Yeah, let's drop those. You already dropped everything?
I did.
Anything extra? All right, man.
Well, hey, do me a favor, everybody. Make sure you guys follow Centrotherm Eco Systems. Make sure you follow the Mechanical Room podcast. I got some pretty cool announcements coming up, so make sure you guys do all that for me if you would, please. So have a good night, guys.
Good night.